But I wanted to clarify, we had winning hockey.
Yeah.
See, because we had a game over the weekend, didn't go the way I wanted it to go.
Overtime.
Yeah. It was bad performance overall. I mean, people was getting on my man Murray. They was ready to bench the dude. I said, come on, baby. It's a little bit more than just Murray. People ain't want to listen, though. But it's all good. It's all good. I mean, just overall, it was a bad performance. But they were able to bounce back last night. And what some people were calling a must win. I mean, when you talk about a 5-game series, 'cause that's the difference, too. People are thinking, oh, it's 7-game series. How can after one game it be a must win?
Yeah, they're technically not in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, I'm like, and let's be real, man. You go down 2-0 in a 5-game series, that's like 3-1, 3-0 in a 7-game series. This is not a good situation at all. But you know the boy, the captain Sid, the kid, man, he came out there, went to work, man, got us to go early, man. And then from there, it was just a beautiful onset, man. Murray played extremely well throughout the whole game. Shout out to the new guy, Jason Zucker, came over from the Minnesota Wild right before COVID and everything. He had a big goal yesterday, man, make it 2-0. And then Jake Gensel, man, the guy who we didn't even think he would make the playoffs because of the injuries that he was dealing with during the season. Shout out to COVID for this, though. Postponing the season, got my man back out there to seal the deal. Overall, man, I was just hyped, man. It felt good to just be watching playoff hockey, winning playoff hockey, might Angie, because I don't want to watch it for losing. It just doesn't hit the same way. I wasn't even gonna come here and talk hockey if they had lost yesterday. I'm just throwing it out there. But since they won, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna drop a little bit. And shout out to Mike Sullivan, man, because he ain't had to stick with Murray. Like I said, a lot of people wanted Jari. A lot of people did. Because Murray, I mean,
what's going on here? Because from what I know with hockey, you go with the hot goalie.
Yes.
But at the same time, with Murray, championship goalie, he's a guy that you want to trust in the playoffs, and in my opinion, you would trust in the playoffs. But who's this other guy? Is he been like a great goalie for us?
So this is the situation. So you remember this would have been in 16 when Murray started switching in for Fleury, right?
Yeah.
Fleury had already had a ring, right? He had already led them, was the hot goalie and all that stuff,
same
right?
scenario.
Exact same scenario, but they're a little closer because Tristan Jarry has been playing really well, but they both went through a span throughout the season before COVID happened, right? They went through a span where they were both playing really inconsistent. So they were switching goalies every other night, which is unheard of. Right, you talk about finding a hot hand. It was like, oh, he gave up 5 goals. Oh, he gave up 3 goals. Oh, he gave up 4 goals. Like, it was just a bad situation and losing the teams that they should be beating. So they came to a point where, all right, we knew from a defensive standpoint they had injuries, guys were out. So that's why I never wanted to just put it on the goalies. It's kind of like been going down, but you blaming the receivers and the running backs and the offense for looking bad. It's like, no, dude, when you have a key person missing, like that's going to happen. So with them, they had multiple injuries, multiple guys missing time. And then when they started getting the guys coming back healthy, along with the new trades, the guys just weren't gelling at the time. So all that kind of played into it. And then obviously COVID happened, so everything just stopped. And it wasn't like it stops, but there's still a bit of practice together. I mean, how many ice rinks you know that each individual person has at their house? Not a lot. So you talk about these guys even having time to practice on their own or practice together. They didn't have that luxury. So now when you look at how they performed the other night, when I said it was bad, it was like they just weren't in sync. And then from a defensive standpoint, they weren't really, killing penalties the way they needed to do. They weren't really just, Murray for the thing with Murray, Murray makes the spectacular plays, but sometimes he misses the routine stuff. Whereas Jari is going to be more fundamentally sound, is going to always be in place, but he's not going to be able to give you some of the spectacular saves and stuff like that. So with Murray, you have to understand that, hey, you're going to have some of those slip-ups come in just from being out of position sometimes. But overall, yesterday, it was back to, all right, this is the Murray that we know. This is the Murray that we love. And he was one of the top performers and everything in that game because of that. But that really comes down to Sullivan trusting that goalie saying, look, yeah, I can switch you out because you didn't play hot yesterday or 2 days ago. And we know this is a 5-game series, so we can't really drop any more games. I can go with Jari. But the reason I liked Sullivan going with Murray and sticking with him is because as a player, number one, if you're that guy, you want your coach to trust you. You want your coach to say, hey, look, man, we've been here before. Good, bad, ugly. I know you're going to get me through this. Let's ride. Because that makes you feel good. That makes you say, all right, you know what? I'm going to stand. Since he believed in me, I'm going to make sure I don't make him look like a fool. And that's what Murray did. But then at the same time, if you're the players around him, you're like, all right, if coach trusts him still, I'm going to trust him still. And that makes you feel confident as well because you're like, dude, if I were to play bad, at least I know that, hey, coach ain't going to just switch me out the lineup the next game because of this series. Like, nah, he's going to give me a chance to redeem myself. So I thought that was a good move, not only for, obviously the results worked out in the game, but just overall for the morale standpoint, I thought it was good. And ultimately, man, because let's be real, the Pens should thrash the Canadiens, man. It shouldn't even be a series from here on out. They should just finish them off. You know what I mean? But overall, that was just a good game to get under their belt, especially in the best of 5 series.
Interesting, man. Interesting. I've always thought with the Pens that, you have Crosby, you have Malkin, you have these stars. You always got a chance. It's just kind of make the dance and you got a chance, just like in the NFL. You make the playoffs, you got a chance. But if goalie's the biggest hindrance, that's a tough spot because a lot of playoffs and playoff runs have to do with getting a hot goalie.
Absolutely.
How many times are they like the MVPs for some of these teams?
You get hot
at least
throughout
the playoff run, whether or not they get the award or not. But
absolutely, you get a goalie that's hot at the right time, man. That changes everything. So hopefully, this is Murray getting hot. But that's the thing, though, man. Sometimes, players go through slumps, and you have to think, man, these dudes stopped playing in March? This is a long time for them to not even. Yeah. At least with basketball, when you think about those guys, like they either got goals at their house or you can go to think about how many gyms there are in America. Like you can go to a gym. How many hockey rinks are? Think about in Pittsburgh, right? We have a major hockey team, right? Professional hockey team, and they share their practice rink. They have to schedule ice time when they can get out there. And with the Steelers, if I want to go practice and I can't go to the south side, I can go right out here to a field somewhere and get my work in. If I'm a hooper, I can go to an outside court or inside court and get work in. It's not the same when it comes to hockey. So I'm like, I could understand the guys being a little bit rusty in that first game back, especially after the way they were playing going into this whole break. But like I said, let's go Pens, man, because we back. We looking good. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Now, here's what I wanted to say. I don't know what I've said in the past on this podcast about what games I'm watching or what not. Here's the thing. NHL and MLB missed their chance because I know for sure I said.
Oh, man. Here you go. Let's hear this because I know you ain't been watching baseball. Let's go. Go ahead. Because you told me, I don't care. I will be watching baseball. And then you said, even when the rest of the sports start.
No. I don't know about that.
You said, you said, I'm watching. I said, yo, you're not even going to watch 10 baseball games. You said, I'm going to at least watch 10. You said, in fact, you said because the condensed season, you told me that you're going to be more enthused because they're going to have a chance throughout the whole time.
Well, the Pirates have already blown their chance.
You said it. When I said it here.
They've accelerated themselves out of the playoffs this quickly.
It's bad, bro. It's bad.
What I wanted to say, though, my main thing with baseball and NHL, 2 sports I don't really watch or get into. If they were to have a month carved out for their own or come back at a time where the NBA is not back or the NFL is not back, then it's the only thing on. I'm going to watch it.
You ain't say all that, but
and
it's cool,
it's
man.
Pittsburgh, I think that's
You did not say all that. You was over here talking about the Pittsburgh, and the Pirates. I'm be tuning in because you said you watch hockey. You said you said it's not an issue to watch hockey. You'll do that, but you said with baseball, you're like, nah. Now I'm definitely going to tune in because
I'm still not watching hockey.
You said I just miss sports so much. That's what you told me.
Here's the problem. I was watching Zion. I was watching the Pelicans last night, and I was watching the Lakers. So
what's wrong with that? I was doing the same thing.
No, that's my point. Yeah. And why I'm not watching the Pens or I'm definitely not watching the Pirates is because those leagues missed out on their opportunity. I got NBA. Man. My 2 main leagues are NBA and NFL. So those are the 2 things I'm going to be watching.
I've been watching everything, man.